What's good, fam? Welcome to Subs Over Dubs podcast, anime review of Vinland Saga, episode 10 and 11. My name is Vision,
I'm Rebel.
and let's get into the episode. So, you know, episode 10, we're getting more information as far as the direction they're kind of taking Farmland Saga. In your words, how do you feel about the progression? Is a little bit more information, or are you still feeling the same way?
Um, if I'm being completely honest with you, I think. See this. I think episode 10 was the first episode I didn't watch the day it came out.
Yeah.
Gave it a couple days, and I was kind of like burnt out on it. But waiting a few days, and then I knew episode 11 would come out like 4 days later or whatever. I feel like it was more refreshing. I don't know if the direction of the tone has changed or if it was just me being like,
You
"Hey
took
man,
time off, I guess.
yeah, took some time off." But the last episodes were my bad. Last two episodes were pretty good. There was more information, and I think we're finally starting to get to where all like you could see the horizon, like the conclusion is coming,
Mhm.
or whatever the shift in this arc that we're doing, it's changing and it's coming to close, and we can feel that. So I don't know if that's what's exciting me, but I enjoyed the last, episode 10, obviously, and then the new one.
So I feel like obviously we're getting a lot more information on Canute, his growth, when it comes to being like, I guess, a politician in a way.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing what he needs to do for his kingdom and by any means, because he literally, poisoned his brother to take over Denmark. Or was it
Denmark, yeah.
He took over Denmark. Yeah, that's right. And basically he did the hit on him, essentially poisoned him. So we're seeing a lot of like levels to his versatility. So like in this past episode, we see him fighting. Excuse me. Patier, I think that's how you say his name. And basically he's for the most part holding his own. I mean, if you compare it to like what he used to be, he was the girly king. Now he's
And I mean, think about it. First and foremost, he looks badass already. Like he don't even look.
He looks a lot
anything like last
the glow
season
up.
or the glow up was real.
Mhm.
But yeah, even starting to see his battle awareness when they're like training,
Mhm.
it's pretty cool. I'm liking, I'm liking the way that he's like developing as a warrior. But I feel like you can kind of start to see where he's starting to act like his father. Like he's doing things that I'm like, in my mind, the old Canute, even for peace, like poisoning your brother, like,
That
when
would've
they're
been out of
talking
the
that
question.
flashback, they're like, hey, he gave you fleets of ships, he gave you this, and he gave you what you needed to succeed and conquer England, and
And
now you're
now,
like going back, and it's
yes,
like,
like by any means. Yeah, I mean, it's
yeah,
been a while. I forgot a lot about their father. I know he was kind of ruthless, but it is, I mean, I think this comes down to reality. Like everything, you want to do things a certain way, without necessarily involving bloodshed and all that.
for
But
sure.
at the end of the day, when it comes to like enforcing your will and conquering, there's really no way around it. You're gonna either have to show some type of force or be known
Hmm.
for some force. So I think in some situations, it's better off to get it out the way early to essentially let people know what you're capable of and you're serious. That way, hopefully, further on, you don't have to actually utilize those said, resources or are willing to do so. So,
Hmm.
much like is Kettle's farm.
Yeah,
So he's known for Iron Fist, right?
for sure.
So, but even though his name's outgrew what he's actually capable of, that's still kind of thing you want to push for. I think as a king or a nation is like this is what we're
It's kind
capable
of
of.
like fear, like, hey,
Yeah. Listen,
don't overstep.
don't push me.
That's valid,
So
yeah.
I think I don't know if that's necessarily his route, but I can have the understanding of why things go the way they go. Because to basically conquer you, unfortunately, bad things have to happen, right? You're not gonna. I'm gonna take your land. Have a
Yeah, but
good
I mean,
day. Let me give you a
but like,
handshake.
think about it, against your own brother, though. Like, that's my thing. Is like,
But
if
that's how
he has
far.
that relationship, and I'm like, he seemed, based off like context, seemed like he was like a good king, So it's like y'all really could conquer the rest of the world together, and why get rid of an ally when Denmark, England easily could team up, take the territories in between, and then boom. So to me, it's like I get it, but I feel like
ambition.
that curse that his dad was talking about of the crown.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real thing, bro. I think that he's starting to slowly lose sight of what he was
Originally
doing this.
started
Yeah,
this
originally
for.
started this for in the name of peace.
Yeah, I think
You know,
at the end
so
of the day, it's just it's ambition. And while he may have, helped them get, gave him the ships in that moment,
mm,
who's to say he's going to continue to do that? Not
that's
saying he
valid. That's
wouldn't,
valid. That's
but
valid.
like that's one thing way to look at it. And then at the end of the day, it's like how many? Okay, he helped them get Britain, right?
Mm,
What's to say he's going to help him get the next place and the next place? Because he's going to
that's
look at it
valid.
like you got your land. Now you're kind of like you're doing more than I feel as though it's needed. So it becomes a thing. It's like, why should I help you do this when it's not necessary? So
Yeah,
then it's gonna be
it's
a
no
conflict.
benefit to him either.
It's a conflict of
That's
interest.
valid. That's
So
valid.
so taking back a territory is one thing. Taking someone else's territory is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
So I think he just kind of foreseen that was a potential roadblock.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why ambition, can do a lot of things to certain people. I mean, power
What's
comes carrying.
crazy for me is like he seems crazy to me. It's
Who, Canute?
yeah, like he's talking to his dad, and you would think like that freak you out, but he's like, man, it's kind of refreshing. You're the only guy I could talk to. You want to be my friend, and I'm like, yo, we talking to
A head.
a head right of your dead father that you sliced off. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah,
So,
well, he usually sliced his father's head off though. That was Askeladd.
oh yeah, you're right. But
Yeah,
that was
I
Canute's
mean,
idea in the first place. You know.
it's been a while. Was it his idea? I thought Askeladd just did it once. I thought Askeladd wanted him to be the next, king, and that's why he did that. I don't remember. It's been a while, so I
Yeah, I
forgot.
mean, I think they went in there to invade in the first place, but um, because it was supposed to be Ashlad who killed the king and then take the throne. But when what? Or no, I'm sorry. Canute was the one who was supposed to kill the king to become the king.
Yeah,
But Ashlad was trying. He found a way to make him the king, to make Canute the
and
king, and
take all the
take all the
blame.
blame. And then he got to save Wales, where he was from.
Yeah,
That was the biggest thing. So
it was just a win-win-win for him.
it was a win-win for everybody. He just had to kind of sacrifice
Okay,
himself.
yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of growth. I like the fact that even though he's having that mock battle and he knows his strengths and weaknesses, he knows his strengths and he knows his opponent's
Facts.
weaknesses. So he points out his sister and a guy's talking to her and he took his eyes for that moment. That's all he needed to take.
It's like battle awareness. You're starting to really understand what it's like to be a warrior.
I don't even. It is obviously about awareness, but I think it's just awareness in general. He knows it's like the art of war. He knows his opponent's weaknesses, and he
Yeah,
exploited it. So while he may not be stronger than you physically,
he's
he's
smarter.
he's showing that he's capable because he's gonna find a way to win. And like all the
Is
men.
that not battle awareness?
Oh, but it is. But I'm just saying
Not
it's
like in
aware.
a physical aspect. It's
No,
like
it is. But I'm just saying in
Okay.
general, it's an awareness. Like in
Mhm.
general, he's just thinking outside the box. Cause just like we just talked about, um, he's looking so far ahead. He's even gone as far as killing his brother to get resources.
For
So
sure.
I'm just saying he's thinking on another level. Like, how can I succeed my goals? What's the fastest way?
For
How we're
sure.
gonna do it? Just like they're talking about the end of the episode. We need money to pay for the troops that's holding our country afoot. What are we gonna do? And they're like, we can't raise the tax for everybody, so they're gonna seize basically Kittle's farm from him.
Which is crazy because you called it. Like I think that's where it's gonna end up. You called. I think it was like 2 or 3 reviews back where
Yeah,
you were
there's-
like, it's gonna end up with some kind of they're gonna invade. Now we didn't talk about who, but now it turns into a Thorfinn versus Canute thing.
yeah,
That's
because
gonna be interesting. That's a little twist of like what you said was plausible,
mm-hmm.
and now that it's happening, it being Canute, I'm like, that's where I'm like, how's this gonna turn out? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's like they fought together in a sense, and
And we see like two different spectrums. Like they switch sides essentially. One was like on the do right, don't kill it basically if possible. And now they swap roles in that aspect. So
What happens if Canute kills Thorfinn because he's like, I don't want to fight anymore? Would you be upset?
there's no way the show would survive. Canute would be the one to kill him. I don't think.
What if Canute's the real main character of all this?
Well,
hidden main character, and you didn't know
not
it.
my Vinland Saga then. I'd be kind of upset though, cause like, well, like
What was the point
to
of
build up,
Farmland Saga?
not even this season, like to build up off season one just to
Sure.
just to promote Canute. I think not in that way. Like I wouldn't appreciate the show in that way.
It would be funny. It would be
Would
funny,
it be
like,
funny?
and they just
Or be
like got you,
tragic?
like all that farmland you just watched was for nothing.
Your main character been in the
Yeah.
background with a robe over his head for a whole first season.
Yeah, facts, bro.
But
He didn't speak for 12 episodes.
yeah, that'd be I would be definitely devastated if they were to try to pull
I
something
can
like
just
that.
imagine that, bro. Like
I'd
everyone's just
be upset.
pissed off, and I'm like, now I kind of want it to happen. I'm like,
Just the
am I a terrible person for that? Like, I would be pissed because I'm like, man, we wasted week after week, video after video, editing after editing for it to just be some outlandish. Oh yeah, BT Dubs, he dies. He wasn't the main character at all.
He's your new
It's
main
Einar.
character.
Einar's the new.
Yeah.
I'd be like, man, you know what? I'm done. Not my Vinland Saga.
So just based on like what we're looking at, obviously they're about to exploit the son because he's so eager to be, king's bodyguard.
Yeah, that's gonna be sad. I already know it.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna be used. I mean, are we
It's
all
gonna be like the indirect reason why
Mhm.
they're able to get to the farm. They're gonna be able to. Man, that's gonna suck.
I'm just curious to see how it's gonna break down. I feel like in some way, shape, or form or fashion, Kettle's gonna end up getting killed,
Mm-hmm.
and it might be a situation between the brothers because depending how it's done, I think the older brother is gonna just be who he is. He's the king's guard essentially, but the younger brother is gonna feel so devastated for his sins, and like that's gonna really help his growth and becoming like the man he's trying to be. Is just gonna help him mature once that takes place. I think.
Do you see a like a brother versus brother fight?
Yeah, I think that's what's gonna end up happening. But it may not. They might team up because they're like
What's
they killed our
the
dad.
younger son's name is like Olaf. Or
Olaf. Yeah.
R.I.P. to him. He's going up against what is it? Thorgil. Thorgil.
I think so.
Over, bro. This guy's a monster.
Hey man, you never know, man. What you call it? When you are put in situations where you're desperate, random things can happen, and
I can see like his brother putting like a valiant effort, not really getting anywhere, but just as he's about to kill Thorgil's about to kill him, I can see where maybe Einar or Thorfinn coming to save him. They join up, maybe a little 3-pack, whatever.
we'll
but
see.
well, it's starting to get interesting, like
because you're wondering how is this gonna play out.
yeah, and then the plot twist with it being Canute, you're just like, how is that interaction of like after they meet each other after so many years,
I think and that's hopefully we get the kind of flashback of why he got to where he is as well. I think that's
Yeah.
gonna happen in between like the battle or whatever, but it is gonna be interesting to see how they take this because again, like at one point I thought, Thorfinn and Canute were gonna like end up, being together on the same side. But the way things are going and the progression we're looking at, it looks like they're gonna be set up against each other because Canute's trying to exploit the farmland to basically pay for all the soldiers he has posted up across the water, and Thorfinn is like, and this is another tricky part, like if his Kettle gets killed, who's freeing them? Because he said he will free them when he comes back.
Yeah. So
So
if it never comes back,
yeah, is he going to be a slave still, part of the property, and just get drafted into their army? Are they going to go that route, or is it going to be a rebellion where the dad dies, Olaf somehow gets back home to get everyone ready, and it's kind of like a little mini battle? But I don't know how far it's going to go because we're talking about literal farmland mercenaries, Thorfinn and Einar versus an army. So like, what does that realistically look like? So is it a fight, or do they escape and then they find some
kind of like regroup.
another army?
Well,
and
you got to
regroup?
remember one of the retainers is
Yeah.
Fox. Was it Fox? No, Fox was. Which one was the
Are you talking
strongest?
about? Are you talking about Snake?
Snake. Hey man,
I mean, he's a strong
he's
warrior.
one of the only people to put fear in Thorfinn's eyes. I'm just saying, like,
Well, I'm just saying, yeah, that's two. That's
You got
two,
him.
maybe three people. Don't
Yeah.
those other guys are side characters, they're mob characters. Versus the army is totally different. But I
don't
think they might regroup maybe and go
You
like
think so?
there might be a third force or something that we
I
get
wonder how
shown.
many people, like retainers and slaves, are at the farm. Because I don't feel like it really necessarily says. So is it going to be like you said, a rebellion where you got regular slave farmers trying to fight for their freedom.
And then there's a dynamic there because it's almost a mini civil war too. Because like you have slaves that like what
they
they're
no
gonna
longer have a master.
are they really gonna fight? Not even that. Are they really gonna fight the people who are invading to take the farmland to still be slaves? You know what I'm saying? What's the motivation there?
Yeah, it's true.
So like it's a lot of moving parts, and I knew some type of conflict was gonna happen. I did not think Canute was gonna be the necessary one to bring that conflict to the farmland, but you know I knew it was gonna be something, and it's good to see. Like I'm interested to see how they're gonna take this route because you have Canute versus Thorfinn setting up, and another thing I would like to see is Thorfinn said he said he wouldn't hurt anyone or wouldn't kill any. Obviously, he said he wouldn't kill, but was it hurt?
I'm pretty sure he's like I don't want to hurt anyone ever again.
So
there you go. Now he's a pacifist, and you're just like you're gonna have to break that promise, my guy.
I think it's gonna come down to, and we'll probably see it with Einar is. He says he doesn't want to hurt anybody, but he does not gonna let his friend be hurt, and him not doing anything.
That's true. So that's the only scenario where I see him
breaking his vow
back, as if it's like I can't let a homie die or whatever. So I'm interested to see if and when that character break happens, because I feel like the first he kills somebody, I'm already here. Might as well just finish
Time
the
to
job.
go on a rampage now.
Yeah, you know, and then
gotta get this UAV out.
You know. So I'm interested to see when that happens, if it does happen. But
boy, Thorfinn about to drop a nuke.
Starting to, you know, they said strap in for Farmland Saga, and we've been riding this wave, and it's been terrible in my opinion. But
that's been solid for me.
We're finally.
Because like I feel like this build up
is it's gonna be worth it.
Like I knew.
Well, I mean, we still got whole 20. No, we still got what is it? 13 more episodes. So we're barely halfway. So I can see where you're like the first half is just
build up.
So
and then another thing we have happened too, and I feel like we'll see how it goes. What's his name? Is it Leaf? Not Leaf. Is it Leaf?
Yeah, Leif Erikson.
Yeah, he's.
That's another thing. Is he gonna
get there in time?
Him and Einar before they show up, and then it's like there's so many ways that they can go with.
And that's part of the problem because the merchant boat didn't want to go make a side track travel, so he was gonna go back with the king. It sounds like from just looking at it, but now our Kettle, I mean. Go back with Kettle, but like he might not even make it. Like
there's
we seen a blood on the sword at the end of the episode, and I think it was the older brother holding it. So like it's gonna be very interesting to see. Of the king tells the older brother to basically kill your father, you know, for the country. So we'll see. I'm interested to see how the dynamics play out because, like I said, this is why
there's a lot of moving parts, and it could just go in so many different ways. And I think now we're getting to the point where these are the kind of things that caught my attention in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know, season 2 at the beginning was just like same shit, different day. You know, literally like they're still in a farm. So now we're starting to see they're starting to
they
ponder.
Cleared the forest, man. 10 episodes they cleared. You've seen that land.
10 episodes, man. It felt like 20 episodes.
Hey, man.
I still wonder his age because you know he was talking about
Yeah.
I want to say I may be incorrect, and if people are watching this, and y'all can give me a better, but I want to say like they were talking about him, the Leif Erikson's adopted son was around 20, but then I was like, that doesn't make sense, right?
Well, what is that? What was that guy? What do you mean? I mean, what's that?
I wanted because he was saying that the kid is around Thorfinn's age.
Oh,
he's around his age.
So he might be mid-20s though. I mean,
maybe like 21, 22.
No, I would say like
he just
mid-20s.
looks 40, and I'm like,
I'd say mid-20s.
You think so?
Yeah.
I guess if you think about it, because he was what like?
Because like you gotta remember too, it took them 2 years to finish, or 2 or 3 to clear the land. They said it took.
He said it took longer than 3 years.
Oh.
In the beginning of the episode, but that's what I'm thinking because he was like what 8 when the series.
He was definitely
like less than
a little
10,
bit
right?
older than a toddler. So
less
I mean,
than 10.
Yeah, less than 10 easy. So like we'll probably go like 7, 8. Yeah.
So say he was 8, and then he was with
Ashlad,
but he was with him for like another 8 years.
Yeah.
Close to, so it's 16, and then took him 4 years to So yeah, I guess you could say he's like 20, 21.
I would say mid-20s.
They just make him look old because
the beard
and the.
Well, he's weathered. You gotta understand. I mean, he's lived a
Yeah,
man's life.
he's living a caveman life.
So he was like
that's
fighting
understandable
for years. So like he's got probably had a lot of stress. So
for sure.
aged him. I mean, he's been through a lot. So
If you had to rate these last 2 episodes, what would you give them?
like 5 being average, probably like 6, 7. And it was nothing spectacular, but these are like builder episodes. So like why these might be average episodes is setting up the plot. And so far it's getting interesting to see how they're gonna pull the strings and kind of have all these different characters intertwined. We have so many different like paths. You have Canute's ambition. You have Thorfinn going monk on us. You got Einar fighting for his freedom. He wants to save. I forgot her name. The other slave girl.
Elnheim or whatever.
Yeah. You got Leaf trying to get Thorfinn. You have Kettle essentially we're on the brink of him potentially freeing Thorfinn and Einar when he comes back, but son tells me he ain't making a trip back. You got his dumb son about to fuck up the whole operation.
Yeah, he should have left that man at home, bro.
Bro, it's just like it's gonna be good. I mean, his father's definitely gonna cause him to grow up. Yeah. So hopefully he grows up and it's like a good transition because he's got to make up for a lot of this.
Yeah, what's about to happen?
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly give like episode 10 to me was a solid like 6.5, but this last episode was like 7, 7.5. Because to your point, it was like information, but it's like teasing. It's teasing, and I'm liking that. I'm finally like, cool. I feel like I've been asleep watching this show, been sleeping on it, and now I'm like, okay, now last episode was like the switching point for me, and then this was like, okay, cool. Now we're getting to the top of the roller coaster. We're almost there.
So times you're about to get the payback for your time. So
I think they were solid episodes, and like I said, I'd grade them. Those last first 10, bro, they were like 5s, 6s. Like I said,
that's low for you because 7's average for you.
7 is average for me. So this was definitely like a 7 out of 10 episode.
So let's say this season finishes out really strong and it's everything you kind of liked in season 1. Would you appreciate the first half then, or no?
For sure, but it goes back to what we talked about 2 weeks ago. I might not appreciate it because I'm watching it week by week. Yeah. If I was to say I'm gonna rewatch Vinland Saga, and when you get to binge it, those episodes don't seem that bad because I'm knocking out 2 or 3 at a time.
Yeah, because you're not waiting.
Yeah, when I'm waiting a week and I'm like, this is all I get. Like we were talking about last night, Spirit Bomb. You're holding it for 15 episodes and you have no choice but to wait because it's airing right now. It's a tough thing. But, like I said, season 1 might have been greater for me than you because I watched it all at once. So maybe I rewatched season 2 and I do have a better appreciation for it.
Yeah. Like I said, for me, it's been fine. Like, as long as I kind of felt this is kind of the direction we're taking, and just based on the pacing, I was like, we're gonna have a lot of these things intertwined towards the second half. I think it's gonna be good. Based on the first season, man, I don't think
it can't get worse. I'll tell you that. There's no way it can get worse.
I mean, we already mentioned how it can get worse, man. Yeah. Here's your new MC, guys.
I thought we were just kidding, but that is a possibility.
That would be terrible.
They better not do that to us.
That would be top 5 anime betrayals for sure.
Exactly. I probably would just never watch Vinland Saga again. Like, don't even mention it. And then when they talk about what's the most overrated, the worst, I would be like Vinland Saga for sure. Jesus. Well, let's hope not. Let's hope not.
Yeah, it's not a wish for that, guys. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up for this review episode. Let us know in the comments, man, what you thought, what you think's coming. Pause, and let us know in the comments, man. So, Vision,
Rebel,
is it subs
or is it dubs? We out.